Hello, Sandra Razzielli here. I'm in a park that I've never been in before in Minneapolis, and the grass feels really great. And so I decided to choose this spot to share a practice with you. And all you need for this practice is your body, a place to practice, and a shirt. So let's start. Just have the shirt within reach. You can use a strap instead, but all I have is a shirt. So stand in mountain pose. So you may hear a few park sounds here and there, but know that that's just people out and about having a good time. So start. Tadasana. Go ahead and lift your toes. Let's feel the base of the toes, the heels rooting down. Bring your hands to your hips. Allow that to give you a sense of lifting up. Bring your toes on down. Take your arms by your side and externally rotate your arms. And let's again lift the toes. Root down at the base of the toes, your heels. Encourage your spine to lengthen. Bring your hands to your hips, toes still lifted. Spine lengthens a little bit more. Bring your toes on down. Bring your palms together over your heart. Press your palms in towards each other. Notice that you're breathing. Let your jaw soften. And take a few breaths. Find the feet again. Lift your toes, and this time let's add by lifting the fingers away from the base of the palms. So palms press in towards each other, fingers reach away from each other. So fingers and toes are similar in that grounding one direction lets you move the other direction. So with the feet, lifting the toes helps ground the base of the toes, the heels, lets you lift up. Pressing the base of the palms together helps you reach out and wide. So fingers lifted, toes lifted. Another inhalation. As you exhale, bring the fingers together, back to touch each other, the toes back to the ground. And next inhalation, take your arms out to the side, reach them wide. And exhale, bring them back down. Let's do that a few times. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, down. Inhale, up. Exhale, down, of course at your own pace. So right now we're not going any higher than shoulder height. The next time you take your arms on up, keep them there. Lift the toes, so rooting down to lift up, all the way up through the crown of your head. Roll your arms so your palms face up. Reach through your fingers. So we don't have the palms to press in towards each other. You still get that feeling of going from in to out, nice and wide. Bring the toes down. This time begin to take the arms up, and as you take them up to a point where you feel maybe a little stuck, gently lift your head up and then bring the arms. Good. Keep the arms going until you feel you would need to bend the elbows for the palms to touch, and then just hold there for a moment. And then bend the elbows. Bring your palms together. Again, press the base of the palms in towards each other. Reach the fingers away. So even as you take your arms down, your spine lengthens up, your elbows widen. And let's do that again. Inhale. Toes are back down. Arms shoulder height, and then begin to look up. Create a little bit of extension, a little bit of a back bend. Bend the elbows, palms to touch. Fingers move away from each other. Moving in to move out. And just a few more times. You can maybe move a little quicker. Go at your own pace. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Trying to keep everything in the camera, but I'm noticing that the ground is not level, so as I move back, I get higher. All right. 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Back into mountain pose. Now grab your shirt or your strap. If you got a shirt, you can wrap it up, grab a scarf, just so you can use it to help take your arms up. On the inhalation, reach the arms up. Feet ground down, spine lengthens up. Lift the toes. Now as you do this, you may notice that sometimes when we have our arms up, the inner wrists move in towards each other. So it goes kind of like this. Encourage that inner wrist to stay long. I'm going to lift up a little bit, just change my angle a little for you. There you go. So we inhale, arms come up, reach through those inner wrists, breathe, and then exhale, take the arms down. So again, feel the feet grounding down, spine lengthening up, arms come up, reach, 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 reach through the inner wrists, and then listen to your body. If it feels good to take your arms a little wider, go ahead and do that. And then if it feels good to begin to take your arms behind your back, make sure your shirt is long enough for that. Go ahead and do that. Shoulder blades squeeze in towards each other. And then up and down a few times. And then release. Go ahead and put the shirt off to the side. And take your legs wide. So open up the hips a little by hands on the hips. Lift the toes, root down at the base of the toes, the heels. Lengthen up with the spine. Let's bring the palms together. Maybe this can open up the hips just by doing this. Pressing the palms in towards each other, fingers away from each other, elbows away from each other, shoulder blades firm. Bring your fingers back together. Bring your toes on down with your hands on your hips. Hinge forward. Keep the spine nice and long. Root down with your heels. Come back up. Let's do that again. Inhale nice and long. Exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, come back up. And then turn your, let's see, what month is it? It's time to go to the left. So turn your right leg in, your left leg out. And bend and straighten a few times. Keep your spine nice and long. As you're bending and straightening, can you bring your palms together? Same action. Palms, base of the fingers pressing in towards each other. Elbows reaching away from each other. And then switch sides. Good. Come back to center, turn your right leg in, walk your feet together. And take a moment, mountain pose with the feet together. Notice how that might feel a little different than the feet apart. And then take them hips distance apart. 4 hip circles to the right. And 4 hip circles to the left. Back to center, palms together. You're going to add on flow a little bit more through some classic sun salutation type movements. On your inhalation, take your arms up. On your exhalation, hinge at the hips, bend at the knees, Utkatasana. Reach through the fingertips, especially the pinky finger. Then press down with the heels, lift back up. Exhale, palms together. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, Utkatasana. Root down with the heels. Inhale, come up. Exhale, palms together. This time we're going to take it into a forward fold after Utkatasana. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, Utkatasana. Stay here if you're not forward folding. I know some of you aren't. Otherwise, fold forward over your thighs. Slowly move towards straightening your legs. And then maybe rock a little bit forward and back. Shift how your weight is distributed. And then bring your hands to your sacrum. Draw the skin of the sacrum down. Inhale, come up to standing. Sweep your arms on up. Bring your palms together. Next inhalation, arms up again. Exhale, Utkatasana. And this time, slowly lower down towards the ground. You can fall in the grass maybe. If this doesn't work for you, of course, please come straight down onto the ground. All right, and then once you're there, play a little. Get to roll around in the grass or wherever you are. A little bit of Tetrasana, move your arms and legs around. Let yourself explore. And then extend the legs. Interlace your fingers, reach your arms up towards the ceiling of the world, which is the sky. And reach your arms overhead just until you feel restriction. And breathe. Lengthen through the upper arms. Maybe release your fingers. Turn your palms to face each other. Maybe the arms go back a little further, maybe not. Keep a nice long reach and length. Next exhalation, bring your left knee towards your chest. Reach through the right leg. Take your hands to the back of your left thigh. Press a hand into the thigh, thigh into the hand to extend your left leg. And then bend your right knee. Place your left ankle over the thigh. Bring your right knee in towards your chest. And then circle the right thigh a little bit one direction. And then switch directions. And then place your right leg back on the ground. Take your arms up to the side like a cactus. On the exhalation, begin to take your left foot over to the right. Upper body spirals to the left. Lower body to the right. Breathe. And then inhale, come back up. And place your feet next to each other. Release the legs. Notice if you feel a difference in the legs. We did different things with different legs, so you may feel different ways. That second side, reach through the right, both legs, interlace your fingers, opposite thumb on top. Reach your palms up towards the ceiling. Inhale your arms towards the area beyond your head. When you get to the feeling of restriction, release your fingers, palms face each other. Bend your right knee into your chest. Nice hug. Take your hand to the back of your thigh. Extend the right leg up. Bend your left knee. Take the right ankle over the left thigh. Bring the left knee in towards your chest. And circle the left thigh a little bit. Switch directions. Then take your arms out to the side. This time, shoulder height nice and wide. On your exhalation, spiral to the left, upper body to the right. Breathe. And then inhale, the knees back up. And little Tetrasana. And feel your legs next to each other. And a little Tetrasana again. And then roll over just onto your belly and extend your arms out nice and long. See me. Reach long through the upper arms. I think lately in my practice I have not been doing enough belly type back bends, and these are really good for strengthening the upper back. Just little back bends. They don't have to be big, but things to get strength in that upper back. Good. And take your thumbs back. As you reach your legs, don't use your hands to push up. Just lift the sternum ever so slightly. So you feel these muscles along the back beginning to engage more. That's the intention here. This area, keeping that strong. That area we cannot see. And then release down. If this hurts your back at all, make it much smaller. If you have scoliosis, then put a little pad which under your side that's kind of dropping, usually under the concave side of the waist. I'm going to use my hand because I don't have anything right now. Up and down a few times. And then rest on the ground, rest your forehead on your hands. And then reach your arms on out again. And then begin to walk your hands back. Come into a Sphinx type position. Spread your fingers, root down with the thumb and forefinger. Open up your chest. If you have a mosquito on your shoulder, gently ask it to leave. All right, and then release. And then go ahead, roll again onto your backs. A little Tetrasana again. Moving around. And then make your way into downward facing dog. Tuck your toes under, lift your hips back. Lengthen your spine, move towards straightening your legs. Play around a little. Good. Then come onto your hands and knees. Spread your fingers gently and a few scarabasins. Shoulder blades towards each other and away from each other, up and down. And from here, tuck your toes under, puppy pose. Extend the arms, lean back. Get a lot of nice length. And then child's pose. From here, come up to sitting. And maybe some of you haven't done this for a while, and if it doesn't feel good on your feet, don't do it. Tuck your toes under. Open up the backs of the feet. Might get under the pinky toes a little bit. And then interlace your fingers, reach your palms forward, take your arms up to the first stopping point, lift your shoulder blades, arms up to the second stopping point. Release your fingers, reach up with the pinky fingers from the space between the shoulder blades, look up. Take your arms out to the side. Go ahead and turn to look at your left hand. Lengthen through the left arm. Come back to center. Look over your right arm. Lengthen through that. Keep that length. Keep that length. Turn your palms to face away from each other, so your fingers turn down. I'm not sure if you can see that. You turn my hand down. And then lift the fingers up. So we're getting some stretches in the forearms. Keep the fingers up and bring that to a cactus position. This looks like some sort of letter, I think, I'm not sure. Then switch the palms so the palms face up. Release your arms and circle them a few times. And then make our way back to standing. You can get there via Uttanasana or just another way. So via Uttanasana, come onto your base of the toes, bring your heels to the ground, let your spine release, and either roll up your spine or lift your whole torso, depending on what's best for you. And if you're in the grass like me, you might be covered with grass now. All right, come into mountain pose. Feet grounding, spine lengthening. Just a little play in the park with the shirt that we no longer need. So we just got our bodies. Take your arms wide, legs wide. Take up a lot of space, reach nice and wide. Breathe. Bring your hands to your hips. Turn your left leg in. Turn the right leg out. Oh, but it's the other month. So right leg in, left leg out. Sorry, choose which side you want to go on. Whatever works for you. This time, take your arms up. Again, reach wide. And exhale into warrior two. Bend the front knee. So the hips are a little more open now. So play with holding the pose for a moment. Reach long through the back leg. From the center of your sternum, reach wide. Keep that width as you bring your palms together. Reach the fingers away from each other. Base of the palms press in towards each other. Fingers reach away from each other. You get more width. Notice if that changes how you hold your legs, how you hold your hips. Keep that expression of the width. Take your arms wide again. And then lift your fingers up towards the sky. And then reach your fingers down towards the ground. And then bring your palms to face down. And go and look out over your left arm. And then come back up. Bring your palms together. Again, reach elbows wide as you go the other direction. Left leg in or right leg out, or the other side if you're doing the other side. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, warrior two. Take your fingers down, keeping the shoulder blades firm. Lift the fingers up. Bring them to neutral. Look out over the hand. Come back on up. Hands to hips. Walk or hop your feet together. Mountain pose. There's a lot of trees around me. So it's time for a tree pose. And I think the light might be a little bit disturbing, so I'm going to just move the camera a little bit. Hopefully that will, take out the streak. You also get to see that my hair got really messy in the park, which is a good thing. Okay, so from here, feel the feet grounding, spine lengthening, lift your toes. Rooting down to lengthen up, bring your palms together. Pressing in with the base of the palms, fingers reach wide. So we're going two directions right now. Grounding down to lift up, moving in to move out, bring the toes down, bring the fingers together. And before we go into tree, what I'd like to play with is adding a few more dimensions. We've got the grounding down to lift up, the moving in to move out, but what about all this other space on the sides? So I want you to take a moment to play a little bit so that you can reach just by moving around, actually reaching other places. So you can create length and width, not just in those two planes, but all these different areas. So just take time. I'm doing it with a little, I'm not necessarily flowing, but I'm just reaching into different quadrants. With my arms, the legs. Can you feel all the spaces around? So be in this whole, all the space that's with you. Because thinking of the trees, how they don't just grow up or sideways, they grow in all these different directions. Their limbs grow in different ways based on probably a lot of factors, right? The wind, of course, where their seed got planted, the way the sun flows, all sorts of factors that trees choose somehow which way their limbs go. So we got a feeling of all the different places around us. So now, with that, we can come into tree and see how the tree grows. So starting grounding down to lift up, bend your left knee. Give yourself a little support, a little touch here to remember to use that hip. Spiral the thigh out to the side and bring your foot below or above your knee. All right, so we got one branch going that way. We got the roots grounding down. Now choose a position for the arms. Maybe symmetrical, maybe not. Choose another position for the arms. And if you're using something to help you balance, just move one arm around. Choose another position for the arms. Now, what about the middle trunk? Can it shift a little to a different space? That, of course, changes the arms. Can it shift again? Maybe again. Different shapes of the tree. The base stays in the same place, but no, it's moving because it has to move in order to accommodate different limbs. And some of you may have seen there's this incredible tree in Yosemite, the super old grizzly giant that's so huge around its base, and it has at least one huge branch that's as big as a huge tree just going off to the side. And I'm always looking at that huge branch when I go there. It was closed for a while. I think they were redoing that area to make it safer for the trees, but it just this huge branch that went off in one direction. And I'm wondering what's going on at the base to help with that. Okay, so let's bring the tree back to a more traditional tree. And then release. Feet grounding, spine lengthening. Second side. Bend the right knee. Give yourself a little waking up on the left side as you spiral the thigh. Take the foot below or above the knee. Different legs, different experiences, so the tree's going to go in maybe in different directions. Explore. Take the branches in different places. Maybe symmetrical. Never seen a tree quite with branches that go like that. Actually, I have once. Someone I know has apple trees that are like that, but they design them that way. So you're playing with balance as you're taking up space in different directions. Maybe the middle of the tree bends one way, bends the other way. And then comes back to more traditional tree. And release. Little shake, little shimmy. Take your feet a little bit wider and 3 circles. 2, one direction. And 3 circles the other direction. And take your legs wide. This time turn the toes out. I haven't done this pose very much until recently. With the legs turned out, you begin to bend both knees like you're doing in ballet. Encourage the thighs to externally rotate from the top. And press down with the heels. Straighten the legs back up a few times. If this doesn't feel good in the hips for any of you, you can turn your feet in other directions. But just play with it a little up and down. Arms are fairly relaxed to start with. And then, let's stay for a little bit. Extra challenge is to add the arms, interlace the fingers, reach your palms forward. Take your arms up to the first stopping point. Maybe that helps you lower down a little bit more. Arms up to the second stopping point. Release your fingers, come to a cactus, wiggle the fingers. I'm saying hi to the people walking by who are looking at me. I guess people don't record in this park very often. Root down with your feet. Go ahead, straighten the legs. Bring your hands to your hips. Take a moment with the feet parallel. Good. And let's do one more series of some standing poses before it gets too dark. So right leg in, left leg out. Inhale, arms on up. Exhale, Virabhadrasana 2. And open up the side waist. Look up at the arm. And then bring that into side angle. Hand on the thigh, other hand up and over. Root down with the back leg. Lengthen through the arm. Breathe. And then root down with the back leg. Inhale, come up into Warrior 2. That's a challenge to maintain that hip stability. Straighten the front leg, second direction. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, bend the knee. Come to that reverse warrior. And then side angle. And come back up. And hands at the hips. Go ahead, hinge halfway forward. We don't have blocks and things today, so I don't want to go too far. Come back up. And again, hinge forward. Come back up. And bring your feet back together. Take a moment, feet grounding, spine lengthening. Let's breathe. Let your eyes open. So far we've done a lot with the sense of grounding down to lift up, moving in to move out, and opening up the hips. So let's put that together in another balance pose that you might want something to hold on to. Otherwise, play with it without holding on to anything except being connected to your body. Shift the weight onto the right leg, bend your left knee, so we're going to cross it over the thigh and begin to bend the right knee. So the figure 4 standing. If you don't want to do this standing, you can do this lying down. So I'm going to play with balancing, lifting the toes on the standing leg. So even that, rooting down to lift up. So I get the length of my spine, then bring my fingers together, reach the fingertips away from each other as the palms press in towards each other. And then maybe extra challenges to lower down. As you get lower, you might want to take your heel off the ground a little bit. And you might, lower down a little bit more. Haven't done that one for a while, clearly. And then maybe play with the balance. So now my heel is off the ground. My toes are on the ground. That's a lot on the Achilles. It's a good balance practice. To get up. Good question. To get up, I'm going to bring my leg back down. And then press down with the toes. Bring my palms together. Press the palms in towards each other. Reach the heels down. Lift up. Get up any way that works for you. Mountain pose. Second side. Shift the weight. Take the ankle over the thigh. Oh, the softball game's over. Begin to bend the knees. Then lift the toe of your left foot. Bring your palms together. Fingers reach away, palms reach in. Grounding, widening, balancing. Maybe go a little lower. You might also, as you go a little lower, take your hands onto the ground to lower. It's a little safer to do it that way, especially if it's a new pose or if you haven't done it for a while. Play with the balance. And then release. Take the hands and the feet to the ground. Come up whatever way works for you. I'm going to press down with the ball of my toes into my heels. Inhale, come up. Take your arms on up. And exhale. Release. Stand in mountain pose. And then make your way back to the ground. Maybe you become that tree again, become one of its leaves falling down, making its way onto the ground. And lie down on your back. Bring your feet on the ground. Wiggle your jaw a little side to side. And extend the legs. Bend your left knee into your chest. Keep your right hand on the left knee. Take the left arm out to the side. And take the left knee about maybe halfway, maybe a third of the way over the body to the right. Keep your left shoulder on the ground. So there's a twist that's really going through the belly. Keeping the legs supported. You don't have to go all the way to the ground with the left leg. Come back up. Take your hand behind the back of your thigh, extend the leg. And then release. And then second side. Bend your right knee. Take the leg a little over to the side. Reach your arm out to the side. And then release. If there's anything else you want to do before Shavasana, go ahead. And just lie on down. Let your breath flow. Let the flow of the breath guide you to Shavasana, to relaxation. Slowly and gently, without any additional movement quite yet, bring your awareness back to your body and back to your breath. Let your breath flow. Then, bring a little movement to your fingers. Bring a little movement to your toes. Reach a little through your arms, reach a little through your legs, and roll over to your side. Stay there a moment, and when you're ready, come on up to a comfortable seated position. Find your sit bones, encourage them to ground down so your spine lengthens up. Bring your palms together over your heart, and may the practice today support you to experience a greater sense of comfort, joy, ease, and freedom. Namaste.